Today we're ranking every Kameo character from best to worst, but with me at my side is someone who's perpetually playing this game every day online. Diff, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Mr. Underdog. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Is your camera working this time, Mr. Diff?
It is.
Good, because that would make a big diff in today's video quality, all right? But first, one thing's got to be settled right now, Diff, okay? So, I noticed that when we recorded my video, you said that if I change the tier list, then you're gonna come after me. You're like, hey, so everyone tell me if he changes the tier list. Then what did I see on my YouTube notifications like 2 days later? A tier list by a certain person who worked with me. And who made changes, Diff, me or you?
That might have been me.
There's only two of us here, Diff. It wasn't me.
I was catching strays. I had to reevaluate my thoughts.
You know what? I respect it though, because you gotta make your own video too. So I'm just joking, but it's funny for the meme right for the start of the video. With that all being said, if you go back on our decisions made here today in this video, the blade's coming out. All right?
All right.
I will Motaro teleport to your location and make you change the tier list very politely after asking you nicely.
This time I swear, no changing.
With all that out of the way, all that goofy nonsense to keep people interested and hooked, it's time to do our first character. So I think we know the top three indefinitely, right? This trio, would you agree it's like the top three probably?
Oh yeah, I would say Chameleon may be the best in the game, personally.
She do be really good.
It's who you're gonna see everybody say needs a nerf right now. She's in an awkward spot, in my opinion, that she makes low tiers viable, but then absolutely breaks the top tiers, so I don't know what you do.
Yeah. It's also kind of telling that the top three are all DLC characters. Pay to win, my god.
Maybe.
I almost want to put Movado in number 2, but only at the casual level, you know, because he gives you hit confirms that never used to be there. Like, we talked about Melina not having a hit confirmable mid because it's just too hard. It's a dial in, you don't have time to react. But with Movado, you just hold down the button.
He also gets an option select jump in that I think is easier, like jump kick. That's easier than Janet's, even though you can get it. I just think anybody at any skill level can do it just by pressing up in the Kameo button.
Oh, and then on top of that, Movado gives everybody a throw combo, which is pretty freaking wild.
Oh yeah, and tons of damage.
My buddy and I were both playing him the first day he came out, and we were laughing at how throws are no longer 10% or 12%. Throws are just 25% now. Because if I throw you, Movado's coming out. But yeah, how do you feel about the next two then? If Chameleon is number 1, just because she's so darn versatile and all of her forms are good, and she recovers extremely fast. That's like the deal breaker, I think, that puts her at number 1, is that she recharges faster. Who's number 2?
I would say with the minus 100 health to Movado, I think on paper and probably in practice, Janet Cage would be better. But I think you're right that as the entire player base, Movado could be. I think though, if we're going on a competitive level,
yeah,
Janet Cage, gets the puppet, Janet Cage keeps the health, and she does pretty much the same things. Plus, Movado still has some tools that I think are pretty expensive, like the pushback flawless block. Doesn't do a lot of damage, 2 bars a meter, and you're not going to see many casuals flawless blocking and using it anyways, and that's one of his 6 moves.
I think the safe word I use too to say when a character is good, like in theory, I say on paper. So I agree that on paper, Janet Cage, I can't say her name. Janet Cage, I do think is number 2. Okay, so if we're okay with this first 3, I think it's time for the next 3 that I think are good, but feel free to challenge me. So I think that like this, and who else was there? Oh, Kung Lao, of course. It's gonna be up here somewhere too. They did nerf him, but that guaranteed 50-50 hard to blockable is still gonna always be good.
I think Kung Lao just being a Kameo that somehow always works with the top tier main characters, he's always going to be up here. So Sindel's still in my nightmares with Kung Lao. And then I actually think you're right that Goro's up here because his characters he works with are so niche, but he makes those characters work, like a Kung Lao.
Yeah.
Some others like that.
Well, I feel like the power to make any move safe on block as long as you time him correctly is pretty strong, and it only costs half a bar.
Shujinko, what do you think about him?
Before the update, I would have said, well, he's situational, but since they gave him like 2 new moves for every single character, and I haven't gotten to actually experiment with them, I'd have to defer to you. Get it? Defer?
Yeah.
Because I don't really have a good expertise on it, but I want to say a lot of the moves he steals are really interesting. Like if you're fighting Ermac, he steals the meter move where your health bar becomes your meter. So he can make your main character just immune to damage. That's kind of crazy that he can just steal that.
Yeah, he's pretty good. The health is a huge thing for him. I think that makes him top tier. I think the extra moves were definitely help because weirdly we knew this patch was going to come because the DLC characters the entire time had the extra moves, but the main base roster that released with the game did not. So it wasn't a surprise necessarily, but you're right that now with plus 100 health, extra combo routes, you kind of have what I feel like Shang Tsung, the main character, should be. You can learn all the main characters in the game, pick Shujinko, and actually really rock some people in Kombat League and win like a whole lot of sets.
Yeah, and then on top of that, something that I wish more casual players realize is that his meter actually builds faster as long as you summon him, like, manually.
See, I'm gonna say this, would you drop Goro to top a high and instead put Kano in top?
Sure, yeah. I was actually experimenting with Kano in a lot of stuff, and what I was testing before our video was if his knives can combo off of a throw push. The answer is yes, but not the second knife.
Yeah.
So you can't like get a full combo after it, which you can with Sector.
Yeah, Scorpion mains out there, give Sector a try because those push combos, the mix-up you get with the missile on that, it's really good, especially having a restand with the flame, so I recommend it for fun. And also, Kano does what also Kung Lao does. He just does the other set of top tiers, like people like Raiden, even with the nerfs, still good with it. Johnny Cage, Kano, still stays really good. So Kano's just, and then I saw Ketchup and Mustard saying it even before, it's like, when you really think about his kit, it just works well having 2 ambush moves. He's one of the only characters with 2 different ambushes.
Yeah.
So it's just, that's a really strong power that I think he has to be top. Okay, so when we go to these right here, I think Jax has to go towards the front.
Okay.
I mean,
in front of Sub-Zero, or is he more situational?
I think he's in front of Sub-Zero solely because he kind of gives that YOLO fun playstyle from other games, but he also works, so he's good with Omni-Man, he's gonna be good with somebody like Raiden, but then he also hard carries and makes people like Katana work really well.
More health too, right?
Yeah, more health, plus 100. He's somebody I see all the time giving a ton of damage, kind of like Cyrax on throws. He can spend those 2 bars and just get 20%. And a lot of that, just the unblockable will always be so good, and then also having a launcher and the extra health.
Yeah, so for anyone watching who's not aware, Jax with a lot of characters, and you could argue even for every character if you time it right, you can do like a jump in and time it to where his ground pound hits right before your character touches the floor. And what that does is, if they stay on the ground and eat the unblockable, you get a full jump in conversion combo. If they try to jump and escape the ground pound, your air normal catches them. So it's like a guaranteed situation, but for Omni-Man it's way stronger because he's way over here and he still gets that guaranteed. Sub-Zero I think is also very strong just because, come on, projectile immunity. That's always going to be really good. Although I find it funny that he can miss you if you're moving too fast. He'll just like put it on nothing, which is kind of funny to me. He can freeze people for setups. He
definitely benefits somebody like Kenshi, like having the Kenshi benefit of freeze into setting up Ghost Sandwich will always be good. Havoc, he gives some viability that, Havoc can actually use his zoning capabilities. So I like Sub-Zero a lot. Little extra health and a launcher for every character. You can just freeze into a combo.
Serena probably put her a bit further back. I don't think she's ever going to not be amazing. Even like at high level play, people are still using her. Like I saw recently at North American qualifiers, I think Video Games Yo was using Xiao and Serena. Motaro, I think people sleep on. Do you think Motaro should be in front of Cyrax? I think his kit's actually really good.
I think Motaro is just a really solid high tier. I think, Motaro can be played with more characters, even though I think Cyrax is better than Motaro, but he's better with less characters. So I'll give Motaro just above Cyrax, because you could throw on Motaro and get plus frames on any character, as well as projectile blocking, a teleport. So I like it where it's at, and then have Cyrax be that niche specialist where we're doing 100% resets with Sindel Cyrax.
In fact, I would almost go as far to say, like, tier lists don't let you tie, but if you could, I would tie him with Sub-Zero because he can reflect projectiles, which is strong, but that low projectile being so plus on block is insane. It's like plus 13 or something. His lockdown with the 3 projectiles is crazy. I wish his teleport gave more combos. I was sad to learn in like week 1 of labbing how few people benefit from that. It's kind of wild.
Yeah, with Katana too, Motaro's just endless pressure. You're holding block strings that last like 15 seconds. And she builds so much meter doing that.
Oh, and also one more thing worth mentioning about Serena. The meter drain is crazy good. The fact that it has no vertical limit, and she has that safe on block little demon flip kick that no one ever does, but she has it. So I think Serena is more top tier than people realize. Now, at the uber casual, she's like top 3, but
yeah.
Although I kind of want to put, honestly, I kind of want to put Tremor up here somewhere. I feel like Tremor's utility is actually really good.
In practice, like online, I would put him top of mid, but you're right, his utility on paper would be high. high. The issue is you see the same thing every time. Go into something, go into the low rock slam as you're changing and spending it. It's like I don't see anything else but that. So once you've played it a handful of times, the Tremor players just need to come up with some slightly new tech. But again, plus 100 health. He has a whole lot of moves you can go through. I just think some of them could be a little redundant for his kit.
You know, we'll put him at the end of high. How about that? That way it's like the best of both. We admit that he's weaker than all these characters, but we're not going to put him in the row because that bothers people. How we feel about this mid-tier row?
Striker got the nerf he needed. He's fine where he's at. I think top of mid, you can use him and still be annoying. You know, just always being safe on block, using it at random times on wake up. So I think he's fine there, but I'm not asking for any Striker buffs anytime soon. He can stay mid forever after the long span we had.
It's funny because Striker has a lot more moves than people realize, like his unreactable low and overhead that are just hilariously good, his random handcuff move and neutral, but it's those grenades that everyone's going to abuse. And I think we all agree that if Sector is in fact at the end of this row, or in this row, this is probably where he is.
Yeah, I don't know if Scorpion or Sector is better. They're pretty even in my eyes. I think Sector is more practical in terms of high level play, but I think Scorpion is really fun, gets the mix up, gets a lot of damage, and Scorpion's not bad, he's just not like super special because you're not getting plus frames. The overhead isn't truly a mix-up, so mid is good there, and I'd call Sector and Scorpion fairly even. They do different things.
Now with low tier, here's where things become interesting because I think Darius has a really cool kit. The problem is he's kind of been replaced by everyone else that can do that stuff. Like, oh, you want a command grab extender? Movado. Oh, you want like an anywhere combo extender? Movado. Do you want like a really tough to block wake up situation? Movado. Do you think Sonya should be in front of Darius then, just because like she keeps you safe or even plus on block in a lot of situations? Her air conversion is crazy good.
She's the like perfect character for the air combos of this game, and a perfect character for almost everyone to learn. It's just, yeah, maybe make her setup play a little better because she has the combos, but outside of that, it's all very gimmicky. While cool, just once it's been figured out, it's not as effective as some of the other cast members.
Poor Frost though. Here's my thinking for why Frost is like probably the worst cameo. Everything she does is a summon. She doesn't have any ambush.
Yep.
Even ones that would make sense, like her little slow ball that she summons. Why is that not an ambush?
Yeah.
I feel like all she has that made her good in the first week is that low freeze mix-up. But at high level, you can see it, right? It's not instant.
Yeah, it's not even great counter zoning. It's not fast enough to counter zone well, which I feel like was the other in practice use of it. And it's just, it misses me so often, even though I see the Frost player doing the right thing. Like, that should hit as a good counter zoning attack, but maybe speed it up if you're at range or something, because it needs some help to do what it's designed to do.
I guess the only other really cool gimmick that Frost has is that if your opponent's low on life, you can do a block string into her like multiple stabs where she just keeps running and stabbing, and they're probably guaranteed to die because there's just so much chip. But that's pretty rare. They gotta be really low.
Poor Frost.
It's
Poor
really
Frost.
weird because one of the balance testers, Stephanie, was like,
yeah, honestly, if they don't want to give her any ambush, make her freeze not scale so much because she's taking so much risk and just not a lot. Like, if she gets no ambush, her freeze is like the only non-scaled one. That'd be cool.
But yeah, how do we feel about this tier list? Does everything look good? Does everyone feel like they're in a good spot? We didn't talk about Cyrax very much because I guess most people know about him, but let's just talk about him.
Yeah.
His utility and kit is crazy good. He gets a combo off throw. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, Movado does that, so who cares anymore? And it's just him. It's not your own meter too. But hey, Cyrax has that. His air conversions are really cool with his little spinny upward move.
His throw is good because I think 50-50, you can't guess which way, because if he has 2 bars a meter, the opponent, you can get forward throwed for the combo or you can get back throwed for the combo with a lot of the casts. So that's good. You can't just default tech a certain direction. And then the only thing though that stops him, because I think on paper he'd be close to top tier, is some characters just can't combo into his net, which is why I'm keeping it high. Like Scorpion, I have no buttons that will actually combo into net, which hurts Cyrax for me. He's kind of useless aside from keeping strings safe. But I think he has stuff. The bomb setups that I've been seeing are really, really cool. And also, yeah, he's the Vortex Kameo. He actually gives true vortexes to cameo or main characters.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like mentioned earlier, we can't show ties on a tier list, because if we could, I would probably tie Movado and Janet, because I think Movado has some crazy stuff, like the guaranteed beating armor every time. I find the fact that Goro and Kano probably be tied to in my eyes in different ways. It is what it is in that regard. Any last minute changes, Diff? Huh?
I don't have any last minute changes. We should just keep Chameleon good because she helps Scorpion, and then maybe fix some of her bugs. We didn't talk about many of the bugs, but
yeah,
it's crazy.
Well, all right. I feel good about this tier list. So there you have it, everyone. Every cameo character after the Season 3 update ranked from best to least best. Just like with our other tier list, I don't think any character in this game is bad, and I don't think any cameo character is bad, but my goodness, NetherRealm, save these kids. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like down below. It helps the channel out a ton. And then keep that combo going by subscribing and ringing that bell so you never miss any future videos. Make sure to come back next time, and as always,
stay underdogs!